Okay, so let's check out EURUSD. So what do we have? We have a monthly downtrend, right? We have a nice monthly support over here, but where is the action? The action is around here, so we need to zoom in a little bit. Let's have a look at the weekly time frame. The weekly time frame tells us that there was a nice, push towards the upside, and now it has been broken. As you can see, the moving averages are crossing towards the downside, meaning that very likely EURUSD will continue with a push exhaustion push scenario towards the downside, maybe to retest this previous area level that I already have marked. Now what we need to do is go into daily time frame and see what's going on. Right, so the daily time frame, this previous low has now been crossed, right? So more than likely a push exhaustion push scenario will happen as well over here on the daily time frame. So we should expect the market, EURUSD at least, to push towards the downside even more. If we have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, we are waiting for maybe a bearish engulfing candle, a bounce off the 25 and 50 moving averages. That would be a great candlestick formation to enter on if it bounces. Let's say this is the bearish engulfing candle. So if we see this scenario over here somewhere near the moving averages, if it bounces 25 and 50, we are shooting towards the downside, probably to retest this previous level. If it gets broken, then it's push exhaustion push scenario towards the weekly area of sensitivity that we have over here. And as you can see, the euro orders have been decreasing and US dollars have been increasing. So what does this mean? This means that euro is getting weaker, dollar is getting stronger. Dollar last week did get positive non-farm payroll news. Some of the other news were a little bit lacking for the US dollar, but I don't see US dollar falling short on the long run. I believe it will start increasing in buying power, and we will see this trade likely to push further down if especially bounces off the moving averages and gives us a bearish engulfing candle as confirmation to enter. So the NZD dollar, what do we have? So currently trending towards the upside on the monthly time frame, right? Bouncing off it, bouncing off this area zone a little bit, but this is not certain yet. So we need to have a look at the weekly. Weekly has now broken. Maybe a push exhaustion push scenario could continue to shoot towards the downside actually, because he is breaking the 25 and 50 moving averages. Let's have a look at the daily. It might be just a daily bounce of the moving averages over here and then continue to shoot down to retest this previous area level. That could be a scenario. If we have a look at the 4-hourly, we can actually see a nice downtrend over here. Very nice downtrend actually. So the obvious bias would be towards the downside actually, even though it is crossing towards the upside. What I would say is maybe a push exhaustion push scenario. If we see this, then potentially we could move further up to around this area level. This area level is where the daily moving averages will be crossed. So what I'm saying to you guys, if it does cross this area of the downtrend over here, if it goes down, a push exhaustion push scenario, maybe a bullish engulfing candle as confirmation somewhere around this level. If it breaks, pushes down, bullish engulfing candle, then it continues to shoot up. Very likely it's going to retest the 25 and 50 moving averages on the daily time frame over here. If we have a look at NZD US dollar, as you can see, 3,200, 3,100. This basically means that NZD US dollar is being sold off by the hedge funds and started to buy US dollar. So we will likely see more buying power for the US dollar rather than NZD US dollar. However, as I said, a pullback is also likely towards these 25 and 50 moving averages and this area zone over here. So we really need to wait for the 4-hourly to break this, or at least respect this area zone and then break 25 and 50 moving averages. Then we could potentially short somewhere around here. If it does push down, gives us a bearish engulfing candle near the moving averages of 25 and 50, we could go down again. That would be a nice trade towards the downside. Maybe even retesting this area level over here as well. That could be good. Right, so USD Japanese yen, let's have a look. So what's going on? We can see a nice downtrend over here, little squeeze pattern shot towards the upside very nicely. Now a little push exhaustion scenario, push exhaustion push. Very likely it could continue to shoot up, at least it looks like that in my eyes. If we have a look at the weekly time frame, we can see a nice uptrend. Moving averages are also well below the candlesticks, as well as monthly and weekly, which shows that the long-term bias is definitely a buy rather than a sell. We can have a look at the daily time frame. Nice little uptrend over here as well. Trending moving averages are below the candlesticks. Just broke this previous area level, this previous strong area of resistance, as you can see. Push exhaustion push scenario. We're currently in exhaustion at the moment, but if we have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, it's nearly bouncing off the 25 and 50 moving averages. So what do? We need to have a look at maybe 4-hourly or 1-hourly time frame and see what's going on. So if we start getting a nice bullish engulfing candle, then very likely it's gonna bounce off the moving averages. Or if we have a look at the 4-hourly time frame, we're still on an area of clear support zone over here. So very likely if it bounces off the 25 and 50 moving averages, it could be a great trade towards the upside to at least retest this previous area level. It would be a very, very good trade. Actually, it would be at least a 70 pip profit. So 2-to-1 risk to reward potentially. Of course, if we get a bullish engulfing candle as confirmation towards the upside, that would be a great trade as well. So yeah, I do like this trade. If we get a nice price action, maybe a consolidation a little bit, bullish engulfing candle as confirmation, not breaking the 25 and 50 moving averages, could be a good trade to retest this previous area zone. Also, we can see that the Japanese yen is currently on the 52-week low, which means they are selling off Japanese yen heavily and buying US dollar. So I don't see USD Japanese yen currency pair going down at all. Right, so USD Swiss franc, what do we see? Obviously, the moving averages are well above the candlesticks, which means it's on a downtrend, at least on the monthly time frame. It broke out this previous area of support, which is important. Pushed down, had an exhaustion. Very likely it's going to continue to push down. However, if we have a look at the weekly time frame, this is different, right? So US dollar has recently gained a lot of power due to a few fundamental reasons, and as you can see, we had a recent bullish engulfing candle on the weekly time frame, suggesting us that maybe the bullish power will continue, and we can see the same thing on the daily time frame. Moving averages are well below, but the 4-hourly time frame is trying to break it, and that's what I don't like. So personally, I would leave this trade alone and wait for further price action, maybe until it reaches this previous area of trend line. As you can see, somewhere around here, maybe around this area of support. See what happens over here. If it crosses, then maybe we're gonna go short, but very likely, since the US dollar is increasing in strength due to a lot of good fundamental news, more than likely we could see this trade push further up once again to retest this previous top. But I'm not 100% sure on this trade, so I would say do not trade it next week. Right, so what do we see on the USDCAD currency pair? As you can see, it's been trending towards the downside very heavily actually, and more than likely we will see some sort of US dollar correction, since the past couple of weeks it has been quite strong, and we can see this with this bullish engulfing candle. So very likely we might even see a push towards the upside, towards the 25 and 50 moving averages on the monthly time frame. But let's see what the weekly is doing. So weekly is trending towards the downside quite heavily. It did break out a little bit, as you can see with this candlestick. However, we have the 25 and 50 moving averages, so I wouldn't be trading it towards the upside, at least yet. Although on the daily time frame we can see a little trend that's happening, but look, we have this area zone as well. I would say it's a little bit risky until maybe if it bounces off these moving averages. Let's say we have our trend a little bit like this, a little bit steeper, and then if the market decides to go down bounce off the moving averages, maybe then with a bullish engulfing candle as confirmation, you could potentially shoot towards the upside, towards this area of downtrend for a potential little squeeze push. As you can see, 180 pips profit if it falls down towards this area zone on the daily time frame. However, we can see, you know, on the 4-hourly time frame, very likely the trend will be respected over here, or the resistance zone over here as well. So generally, we still need to wait for further price action moves. We can actually see what the hedge funds are doing, and as you can see, they have been increasing Canadian dollar slightly from last week, 43,000 to 45,000, which means maybe that on the daily time frame, maybe next week, Wednesday to Thursday, it's gonna be dropping towards the downside quite heavily. Maybe that could happen to some fundamental news extent, and then if it does happen and we get a bullish engulfing candle of these 25 and 50 moving averages, or this little uptrend, we could potentially see a nice, you know, push towards the upside to retest this previous downtrend. We obviously are in a little squeeze pattern, so if it pushes towards the upside, then we will wait for an exhaustion, enter here, go towards the upside, and same scenario goes towards the downside, push, exhaustion, push scenario. So let's have a look at AUDUSD. As you can see, it is still decreasing in orders, 17,500, 17,800. So very slightly more sell orders are coming in. Very slight, but we can see what's happening on the monthly downtrend. You know, nice, a little push over here through the moving averages of 25 and 50. We can have a look at the weekly time frame. Weekly is definitely shooting towards the downside as well at the moment. Crossed over the previous area of nice trendline sensitivity. 1 2 3 touch pattern has been crossed, still trending down. We can see a nice, you know, double top scenario as well, pushing down, trying to break the moving averages. However, it is bouncing off a little bit. But more than likely, since this is a push, more than likely it's an exhaustion to the previous area of sensitivity, which was this area of support, now became resistance. Very likely we will see this trade shoot towards the downside due to the obvious US dollar strength and hedge funds increasing sales orders for the currency pair. We can see, you know, a nice bullish engulfing candle. So this does suggest that maybe, you know, this steep downtrend, we have a look at the 4-hourly, maybe it's gonna bounce off these 25 and 50 moving averages. If it breaks these 25 and 50 moving averages, shoots towards the upside, maybe we could see a push exhaustion scenario to push towards the 25 and 50 moving averages of the daily time frame. However, this is unlikely, but what I would do personally is wait for further price action. Maybe it's going to consolidate a little bit. If you find a bearish engulfing candle of the moving averages, it could be a nice trade towards the downside to retest this previous bottom, or even continue to shoot down. If it crosses lower than this, we might see this trade go further down. Right, so GBPUSD monthly time frame is trending on a nice downwards trend. It is currently on a consolidation phase. We can see it over here, going up, going down, respecting these previous, you know, support and resistance levels. This previous level has been respected. As you can see, it did not yet close as a bearish engulfing candle. Could potentially mean that it might try to shoot up once again to maybe even break this area of resistance. However, this resistance has not been broken since 2016, I would say. So let's have a look at the weekly, you know, trending towards the upside very nicely. We can just draw it over here, but it is trying to push a little bit down, as you can see. But if we just redraw the trend line, this is what most newbie traders don't do. You can see that it could be still trending towards the upside. So the daily time frame, however, suggests that it is trending down. The moving averages are trending down. A nice lower low, as you can see, this was the previous, this is the new one. We can see this area of support around this level. So probably if we have a look at the 4-hourly, if we get a bearish engulfing candle once again, it could be a nice trade towards the downside, since it is trending down on the daily. time frame. However, weekly time frame and the monthly time frame is trending towards the upside, so it's very hard to say, but I do believe, if I had to trust my gut, I believe it's going to continue to shoot towards the downside. Actually, let's have a look what the hedge funds are doing. And British US dollar, as you can see, 17,900, 17,300, from 32,000. So they have been selling Great British Pound against the US dollar. So definitely my bias is, if we get a bearish engulfing candle such as this one or this one bouncing off the 25 and 50 moving averages, could be a nice trade towards the downside once again. So if you would like to join our premium services, it will be the first link down in the description below. We analyze the Forex markets. We have a nice team of traders, decades of experience, and we dominate the markets. We have a lot of nice feedback from our customers. So if you would like to join, as I said, first link down in the description below. And I'll see you traders next week. See you later. Goodbye.